So, time has come to talk about the big and controversial topic. This section will be quite a shocker for those who are used to reading books on chakras, kundalini, and kundalini awakening, etc. I would have loved to ignore this topic and just go on with teaching you meditation. But I had to write the truth. So, in the coming few thousand words, I will be shaking your understanding, or at least what you think you understood about those spiritual concepts that I just mentioned. Some of you might choose to believe me, and others might choose to mock me. Most of you will ignore me, and some of you might make it their life's mission to oppose me. Knowing very well the risks associated by disclosing the information that I'm going to speak, I took more than 30 years to do so. There is something about becoming older. The first thing is you have more experience, and you have had longer and more opportunities to test whatever theories you had. After a certain age, you would have attained a certain level in your career and financial security. Thus, combined with a stronger knowledge base and the ability to take risk because there is less to lose, enables people to come up with revelations that they could not when they were younger. Of course, what I'm going to speak has nothing to do with my personal life, and it has to do with my own spiritual experience related to this particular component of consciousness. It is the last one in the list of the 13. So let us begin. Whenever I read books by both scholars and so-called enlightened yogis, babas, about chakras and kundalini, I just roll my eyes. I just can't believe what nonsense they are writing. All of them are speculating, and they are basing their so-called research and findings and theories on the work of people from very far in the past. So all the books that are currently available on chakras and kundalini are old secondhand information. I'm just astounded that even the great meditators of our age didn't have a first-hand experience of chakra and kundalini. I understand that scholars and writers need not have a direct experience of this, but they can refer to other meditators and their books. But what I feel disappointed is that the so-called babas, yogis, meditators, saints talk and write so profusely about chakra and kundalini, but they don't have a first-hand experience of that. How do I know? Well, the argument follows that I know because I have had and am still having first-hand experience of chakra and kundalini. Yes, it's a big claim, and I'm not asking anything from you. Certainly not that you worship me or you even follow me or even care. But reading this book and this particular section, I hope that at least you who are reading or watching will get the correct knowledge about chakra and kundalini. Till now, the scholars and even the meditators have painted these two concepts, chakra and kundalini, like a rainbow that nobody can touch but everybody can see. However, I found the base of the rainbow. I know you'll say that there is no base of the rainbow because it's not real. And this is exactly what I'm getting at. The concept of chakra and kundalini is so abstract, magical that even when I experienced it firsthand when I was 17, as I told you earlier, I couldn't believe it. I waited 30 years to talk about it. I did my own research thoroughly, lived my life, built my career, earned money, settled my family, and now I'm just beginning to write about it. I'm not trying to argue with anyone or to win any debates. I'm just beginning exposition of the truth about chakra and kundalini. Now that I have mentioned to you the background of this particular section, let me explain to you what is currently taught about chakra and kundalini and what is the actual meaning of those concepts. After that, I will explain to you how to make use of this new information that you will get from me. Take a look at the diagram on your top. You will see that there are 7 chakras. I have referred to them as a center of consciousness so that I can separate my concept from the traditional one. So in this section, I will alternatively use the term chakra and COC quite freely based on the flow of my writing. Later on in the book, I will throw away the concept of chakra and use the term center of consciousness or COC. That particular diagram and the 7 chakras is real. When you meditate, you will be able to sense some feelings in those particular regions of your body. However, the sensation doesn't occur on the spinal cord, but it occurs parallel to the spinal cord, but in front. For example, the fourth center of consciousness, which we all, all the time refer as the heart chakra in the traditional literature, can be experienced at the center of your chest. Now, is it exactly transposed on the physical heart? I cannot say for sure, but it's nearby. Many of us will have felt that chakra when we feel something in our heart, a tightening, for example. Well, that is the work of the heart chakra. When I studied biology, I came across the term for a particular nerve that is near the heart and that connects the brain called the vagus nerve. Then I realized that it had something to do with the heart chakra. So is it that the invisible heart chakra affects the visible vagus nerve, or is it vice versa? I cannot say. However, what I can definitely tell you is the fourth COC or heart chakra is in front and near where the heart is supposed to be. Many people feel the stomach chakra or the third chakra, but they do not know that it is what they feel. It can be felt like the butterfly in the stomach that we feel when we are afraid or nervous. Now, is it a physical sensation or is it the stomach chakra affecting the intestines, thus resulting in the butterfly feeling. Again, that is unprovable at this point. The other chakras are quite difficult to feel, but they affect us in many ways. For example, the second COC, or the sex chakra, can be experienced when we feel a desire for somebody of the opposite sex. Again, you might argue that these are not spiritual sensations, but they are physical sensations. But wait, I'm not done yet. I have just explained to you how you can experience chakra and how actually you have been experiencing chakras. What those books also don't tell you is that there are many more chakras than those seven chakras. I cannot exactly tell you what is the function of the chakras, but I can tell you that when changes occur in them, and I will tell you later on how you can perceive those changes, then the other 12 components that I've listed earlier undergo change. A very common but quite ignored set of chakras, or should I say pair of chakras, are in your knees. Now this will take me to the next concept called kundalini. I will explain to you what it is using the example of the knee chakra. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night or a nap with a sudden jerk in the knee, as if you had fallen off the stairs or slipped on a banana peel or something? Most likely you had a dream of such a sleeping. Now, some of you would not have experienced such a sudden jerk or electric zap on your knees, but I know some friends who have shared to me that they had such an experience. Thus, generalizing, I believe that many people have had this zap in their knees while they were dozing off, however, unable to explain it and not wanting to be medicated over it, most people forget about it. Now, this is what I want you to think deeply about. This particular thing that you felt in the knees is actually what kundalini is. The Sanskrit word kundalini means uncoiling. In the past, when the people experienced this feeling, they did not have the reference of electric shock. So the next best analogy that they could find was that of the cobra suddenly uncoiling and biting the person, and thus the word kundalini. But nowadays, that we have electricity, and most of us have been foolish enough to put our fingers in an electric socket and get electrocuted, or touched a live wire and became the earthing for it. So, what is the use of the old analogy of the serpent uncoiling? Today, we can say that there is something called electric zap that happens in various parts of our bodies, and that is akin to electric shocks we get while we sleep in our knees. So, from this, I urge all the meditators to come out from the oblivion of the past and embrace the truth about this spiritual experience called chakra and kundalini. We don't need to use the old term, the uncoiling of the serpent. Today, we can just simply say what it is compared to our worldly reference of today, that is, an electric zap. Now that I have demystified what is this mysterious thing, Kundalini, and told you that many of us have experienced it as a knee jerks in our sleep, let me talk more about how you can apply this knowledge in your own meditation practice. I do not understand why the ancients did not speak of it so outright, and they camouflaged it in some esoteric text like coil serpent and lotuses. But I'm sure that they had their own reasons. However, I believe that my own mission is to demystify all this and allow those who are capable and willing and ready to experience the full power, bliss, and expansiveness of meditation. So, coming back to a chakra, it is a center of consciousness which can be felt, as I told you, with our physical senses. They are felt as sudden expansions or contractions at the various locations that I have told you about as per the diagram. Mind you, the location of those chakras is not on the spine itself, but parallel to the spine in front. Except for the heart chakra, the stomach chakra, and the sex chakra, the other chakras are quite difficult to perceive without kundalini awakening or the electric zap that I told you about. So what actually happens is the same electric shock that you felt in the knee occurs at the various locations that the diagram is showing you. Yes, you got it. Imagine getting electric zap on your heart. People will go bonkers. They will feel that it's a threat and they will rush to the doctor to check if they have a heart attack. And maybe that is why this knowledge has been concealed so far. The same zap can be experienced in the topmost part of the crown, in the pituitary gland, in the throat chakra, and even in the anus chakra. However, I told you that there are many more chakras in the body, and the electric zap or the kundalini awakening occurs in those various places. You can experience them as you experience the knee jerks, except that the location is in the various places that I've just told you about. Now, it's not just a physical sensation, and the misnomer of chakra is apparent here. It's ridiculous to have just electric zap in one of your crucial body parts, but not having any observable effects. Some changes are occurring. It's just that you don't know where to look. Those changes occur in the above 12 components of consciousness. For example, if someone receives a kundalini awakening in the stomach chakra or the third center of consciousness, then you will become more intelligent. How would you know that? Well, what was difficult for you to learn one day earlier would become a bit easier the next day after the zap in the stomach chakra. Yes, so these are very subtle changes. As I told you, it's not about growing a third arm or a third leg or even losing your hair. The changes are very subtle. If somebody gets a zap in the heart chakra, then there is a constriction and a sudden expansiveness, an explosion. That is a physical sensation, but that is meaningless because it's just a change that occurred in one of the 12 components that I listed earlier. So in this case, the change could be that your feelings or the mind changes from always feeling anxious to suddenly feeling calm. You would not be able to attribute this change to any particular event in your life. But now that you know the explanation of what actually Kundalini is and what are the zaps and where they occur, you can connect the dots and realize that the shift in you that occurred was related to that particular zap you received in the heart. The problem is most people are afraid to talk about it, and even if it occurred they would not know that it was related to a spiritual awakening. I thought that I was the only one experiencing those things, but met some people who received zaps, and they didn't know what was occurring to them. I asked them, "What happened to you just now? Do you know?" And they said, "No, they don't know. It occurs sometimes." When I further interviewed them, I realized that their lives was nothing conventional, and they underwent tremendous changes in their life concepts and directions. They did not live a conventional life. Now, my point is, I want to connect or relate transformations in our consciousness to those electric zaps in the various COCs. Now, you'll argue that are you trying to say that all the transformations that happen in people, in their lives, in their opinions, is due to some zaps that occurred in the center of consciousness but they were unaware of? Well, that's a call that I don't want to make right now. It might be possible, or it might not be. However, the point of me writing this section is for those who are interested in meditation to understand what is actually this thing, this evasive thing that the gurus have been talking about, that they call chakra and kundalini awakening. I'm just tired of the veil that has been put around them. It is simple, and I believe that, as I told you earlier in my earlier section, is that millions of souls are reincarnating in the coming generations, ready for the next level of evolution. And those electric zaps in the various CUCs will become necessary for them. By writing this book and knowing that they'll get a hold of it, and maybe it is possible that you are one of them, then I believe that they will not be scared of this thunderbolt that is hitting them. If you do not practice meditation properly, then the electric zaps will stop, and alongside your evolution to supreme consciousness or enlightenment or nirvana or liberation will stop, and you will just live like all the other billions of people. However, if you are able to practice what I'm going to teach you in the coming chapters on unified meditation, then you will be eligible to receive more zaps, and these are quantum leaps in consciousness that will endow you with amazing extrasensory perception, various unknown soul senses, more powerful genius, indomitable energy, infinite creativity, and so on. The next point I want to bring to you is the origin of those apps. For that, I would like you to look at the diagram at the bottom. You'll notice that it is the same person with the seven chakras. But besides that, there is an inverted triangle. You can learn more about it in my book and the relevant chapter that I have written below. So this triangle represents what I call the ascended masters. It's a unseen world. It's a place where the souls of people who have reached enlightenment go. Maybe you can call it the Shambhala. There is a hierarchy in that place also, which is demonstrated by the white boxes and the lines joining them there. So my point is that those zaps or electric shocks that you received when you were dozing in your knees was a blessing from those ascended masters. Now you cannot think them as people like us. Their consciousness would have evolved to become like a central server which can access to many local computers. In the old age they did not have this analogy of computer networks, but now we do. So when I explain to you in terms of a server and the local computers, it makes sense, doesn't it? Question is, why would they send you blessings? Well, definitely we must understand that many of us are reborn meditators and yogis of many past lives. We would have had masters in earlier lives who would have found enlightenment. We would have had a great relationship with them, and they would have had promised us that they would guide us and help us till eternity, even though invisibly. So their motivation isn't hard to understand. Alternately, it could be like in the movies or stories of the epic Indian scriptures, whereby the yogi meditates for thousands of years and then the god comes and gives them a blessing. And this blessing that you can watch in the movies is the actual electric zap that you receive. In the movies, they had to show it that way, but in reality, this is how you feel it, like an electric shock in the various locations shown on the diagram. I know it's very hard for you to consume this information, but what has been told, and what you read, well, you read it. There is no going back now. What I urge you is to embrace unified meditation and accept the blessings of your own ascended masters, whoever they were. There are thousands, maybe also millions of them. Myself, I have experienced hundreds of thousands of them, so I cannot say they are limited to just hundred thousands, but maybe millions, because many of them could be unrelated to me. Again, I'm not making any claims or any demands from anyone, especially not from you. I've given you this information to guide you in your own journey, and not that you follow me or respect me or believe me. I just don't want you to be afraid when during unified meditation you experience those zaps at the various location of the COCs. Just be cool about them, and the transformation will occur at the pranic system level or the brain wiring level or at the genetic level. Let it do its part. Do not be afraid. There's a yogi called Gopi Krishna, and he wrote extensively about kundalini. You can get one of his books. The way he wrote his experience is quite frightening, and makes you wonder if you really want whatever I've been telling you. However, this guy was not properly guided, and what happened to him was a side effect of the electric zaps, I believe. Why did it occur so devastatingly in his life? Well, I'm sure that he had some karma to finish. Also, maybe he did not practice the correct meditation technique that would allow it, that is, the electric zaps and the blessings, to occur in a systematic, evolutionary, gentle way, that is most likely the case. So, this is why I teach you unified meditation. Through this practice, the transformation will be gradual and is not supposed to drive you crazy. If there is any such possibility, um, you will just be prevented from moving forward. That's the promise of unified meditation. Well, it's been a very long section with a lot of controversial ideas, shaking the foundation of whatever spiritual knowledge is in fashion today. I hide this knowledge for the last 30 plus years. Now I'm revealing it, and there's no going back.